Alright, this is Ryan with Oak Harbor Web Designs, and today we got an easy one. So this is for a, let's zoom in here. This is for a restaurant in Hammond, Indiana. I'm from Highland, Indiana. So we were visiting family for a couple months over the summer, and found out one of my high school buddies' parents owns this restaurant, and he found out what I did, and I actually helped his brother out, and I didn't even know. And this is the website. So yeah, it's obviously, it's one of these cozier, established restaurants. And I really wanted to capture that cozy aesthetic. I don't want to get too flashy because they're not flashy. They're cozy, and that's the kind of thing that you have to think about when you're designing these sites. Is what is the feel of the business? What's the aesthetic? Because you don't want to have a jarring experience from the website and then in person. Like if I tried, like on this is the contact page my designer put together, and I said this looks nothing like the restaurant. If they see this, they're expecting this like crazy expensive high-end place, and that's not this place. It's a local breakfast lunch place, and it's not supposed to look like it costs $100 to eat there. It should look like a regular cozy homey place, and I had him tone it down on this. So I wanted the focus to be on the address and the phone, is what I told him, and so that's how we came up with this section. The form is secondary because who really uses forms on a restaurant's website? But it's there if they want to use it. But I wanted to put the contact information and location front and center when you want to find out where and how to call this restaurant. So that's the reasoning behind the design. And this about page, just kind of make a little black and white, little classic. So this is just one of those. This is a great template to use, great design for any local restaurant. So if you wanted to get inspired by this, please feel free. So let's see. I am looking at this code. Now let's get started here. So right away, I just use this. I'm sure, I don't know if you've seen all my other videos, but this is my standard boilerkit code that I use, and it gives me a landing page, responsive navigation, dark mode, and a footer, and it's responsive. So it's just why start from scratch? There's really no point. So that's I'm gonna refresh. There it goes. That's where everybody's at. So why build a responsive navigation over and over again? Just do it once and then copy and paste it. So that's what I do for all of my builds. I start with something I've already built, and that's what we got here. So right away, let's look at let's set this up. So I think we're gonna have this. This is gonna be in the section below this landing section. We're just gonna keep it in landing, and just have these guys. So all I really want is H1. Let's copy you, put you here, and H2. And then let's get rid of this. It's going to be our menu. So every page, on this landing page, you start with your H1 right here. And then I like to put an H2 underneath it. And that's for every section of your website. This is how I start all of my sections. So I'll copy and paste this. That's another section. That's another section. Everything I do is in section tags, because that's how you do things now. It's a semantic HTML section, as it's implied by its name, is for every section of your website, and helps Google understand that this content is related, it's separated, and these are all part of the same topic. So I use that, and I just like to do these little comments just to break it up and make it easier to see where I'm at in my HTML. So you don't have to do that, but that's what I do. And in every section, you only get, I like to use one H1 per page, and that's going to be your your landing page, right? Or your big H1 with your keywords and what you do, whatever. And then every section starts at H2, and then it goes down to H3, H4 in a proper hierarchy. So, like, if we use specials right here, this is an H2. Scrambled eggs, H3, because it's clearly, it's got a little head, it's bold. It looks like a heading, so that's what I would make this an H3, H2, H3, and then a P. That's kind of the structure that I would do. So let's get back to it over here. So we got our menu, and the logo I actually don't have yet, so I'm waiting from them, but I need to get this website going as soon as possible. So I'm just gonna get started and add that later. Now, that's it for the home section. That's all we need. Now let's go to services. So this is going to be, let's just say menu. This is menu. Make the ID menu, and I want a container because I want this content. Like all of this has to bounce off of something, off of some border. So I'm going to create a container. Like you see here, this is a container. And you see how things are bumped up against it? That's what we're going to be doing with all of these guys. So I think this is going to be a section right here, and then this will be a separate section. So let's keep these guys together. Now we got our floating menu here. So I'm going to create, let's see, dot floating cards. Let's do cards. I'm going to have a container around these cards. Okay. And it's going to be yay wide. Let's find out how wide this is. All right, it's going to be however wide that is, probably 1140. Yeah, 1140. I'll make a container, floating cards, and I'm going to put a card inside of it, and I'm going to have 3 of them, and then I'm just going to do flexbox to arrange them all. So now we got, looks like we got a, this is just, oh yeah, I'm going to make this an H2, or an H2, this will be probably an H3. So I want to start this H3. This is clearly an H2, our specials. So, screw it. Maybe I put this up here. It's the inside container. There we go. Because then I can do my H3. So here we're going H1, H2, H3. Going in order. We don't want to put an H3 up here above this. That's not proper hierarchy. That's stupid. You want to go in order. So H3, so I'm going to do breakfast. Oops. We got this image here. So one of the things we can do is to get this going, we can put an image in here. Oops. Okay. Slash images, I think that's breakfast, SVG. And it is more decorative, so we do aria hidden equals true. And aria hidden, this is an aria attribute for accessibility. This talks to the screen readers. And aria hidden, true, means it's hidden from the screen readers. It doesn't, it completely glosses over this. So we don't even need to put an alt tag in here because it's decorative. It has no inherent meaning. They don't need to know what this is. So we're not going to bother them because imagine if a screen reader has to go over every single element in here. It makes it annoying for them. So we only want them to be read the information that is important. We don't want to waste their time. And of course, on all of my images, this is going to be above the fold. So we're not going to do a lazy load. Above the fold is just whatever the bottom of the screen is, the landing page. So imagine this is the size of your laptop screen. And this is the line right here, this line. Anything above this line is called above the fold, where it shows when it loads. Anything below this is below the fold. So below the fold, I like to add the loading equals lazy attribute. And this lazy loads your image, so it doesn't slow you. It does not slow you down, and it increases your loading speed because we're telling this thing, don't load until the website's done loading. And then once all of the website is done, then it loads. And that's lazy loading. You can use that via that attribute in the browser. I don't think it's supported by Safari yet, but eventually it will. So if you build your websites with it, eventually support will be there for it. Might as well just throw it in there while you can. But since these are obviously above the fold, we're not going to do that. So let's zoom back in. Now we got our text. Let's copy that into a P. And then we got our link here. So underneath that, we got an A tag. And let's go to breakfast menu. And we got an arrow. I forgot to pick up an arrow. I can't grab that. So okay, so we're going to do a flat icon now. So if you ever need anything, like icons, little SVG graphics, flat icon all day. This is not a sponsorship. This is just my day. So I need an arrow, and that's the one I want. And I need it to be white. So I'm going to customize this. White, download as an SVG. Wonderful. You're not going to see it because it's white. And arrow. There we go. But man, flat icons got it. So like if I wanted, let's just do food, you know. They got so many icons, and you can customize all the colors, and they have different versions of them. So yeah, if you ever need icons, anything like this, or SVG graphics, flat icon, it is the best. Like $10 a month I spend, and I get so much value out of it. So definitely check this guy out. This will save you a ton of time. So now that I got that, I want to copy and paste this twice. Okay, because we got lunch. And go to lunch menu. And then signature salads. Salt salads. There we go, signature salads. Oh, this used to be burgers, but you know, whatever, it's gonna be salads now. I'm just gonna lorem this. Lorem 12, 14. Is that enough? That's too much. I actually got to rewrite that. It was burgers, but then they're like, no, we don't want to do that. Let's focus on salads over there. So go to salad menu. Now we need to put in our little arrows. So image / images / arrow SVG. Once again, hidden true. We don't want screen readers to pick it up. So we're going to do that. And we're just going to copy it. And paste and paste. So we're just going to space this within the text here. So this will be a display inline block, and then we'll put a margin left on it, and then we'll turn this A tag, we'll turn this into a flex item, and then we'll just justify we'll do align item center, and that will center this vertically. And oh yeah, we got this guy. So this is always, like, in the design, it looks like it's attached here. So what I want to do, instead of, well, actually, I would normally add this as a pseudo element, but because it is kind of a large graphic, I would like to lazy load it to save space. So, because I got to make Google happy with their new core vitals. So we got to really kind of crush it on our loading speeds. So now it's changing the way I do things, where I used to do these in pseudo elements because it makes for cleaner HTML. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to throw this in there. So outside of the cards, right, but inside the floating cards, I'm going to add this image / images, and I think that was a dill. Okay, and again, it's decorative, so aria hidden equals true. Now, since this is going to be below the fold, loading equals lazy. So we got that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna position it absolutely so that it does not take up space anymore. And I can just position it wherever I want relative to the floating box. So I'm just gonna, put it to the right and put it bottom and shove it down there. So that's what I'm gonna do there. Now, we're gonna go into the menu section here. And I gotta think about how I wanna do this. So I got this guy here with nothing to push against it because this is here attached to this. So what I want to do, come on, Paint. So just to explain this, I've done this before, so if you've already seen me do this, go ahead and skip like a minute or so. What we're going to do is I'm going to create a container, right? This is the container. And this is like a div, right? And inside of this div, I'm going to create another div. And it's going to be called, I don't know, menu content. So this menu content is going to live within this container, okay? And that's what's going to have this stuff in it. It's going to be a container that has this stuff in it that's inside of a bigger container that has a max width of 1440, so this big. And what I'm going to do to position it like this, I'm going to set its width to be however big this needs to be. Get over here. Whatever this is, right? And I'm going to position it inside of the container. So I want it to be on this side. So what you do with block level elements, this is display block. If you do margin right of auto, it will push against the right side of the container and go as far as it can over. And if I do a margin left of 0, it will basically, it gets pushed against the edge over here. So if I wanted more space, I just say margin left 20 pixels and it pushes it automatically from the right and then 20 pixels away from the left. And that's how you can move this guy around. So if I wanted it to be over here, I just do margin left auto, so it pushes it, and then margin right of 0, so it's hugging the other side of the container. And that's just how you move a block level element within a container. You just create your content and move it however you need to inside of it. That's why we create the containers, so that we can use them to position off of. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So this is the menu, and this is going to be the content. And inside of it, we're going to have the H2, which is our specials. And then so I need to make this. How do we do this? Right? We got, trying to think, the easiest way. My goal when I'm working is to use as few divs as possible, so that you're not nesting within nesting within nesting divs, and it just looks like a mess. So I think what we can do, I can create this. So this will be an H3, and inside of the H3, I'll just make a span that is this long, and I give it a border of like dashed, and then I make another span inside of it for the amount, and then underneath this will be a p tag, and then I do that again. I'm just wondering if that's the most efficient way to do it and the way that makes the most sense. Because normally what people would do, they'll create a container. They'll create another container, so it'll be like a menu item, and it'll have this stuff inside of it, but that's just another container within a container within a container. So I'm just gonna oops. So I'm gonna try and do this with. I'm gonna try and do it the way I wanted to. So we're gonna do H3, and then we're gonna do scrambled eggs. then here's the span, span dot, let's see, line. So there's the line. This is going to be in a span. You want to use spans when you're throwing things in line. You don't really need to do a div right here. Divs are like their own thing. Spans, you use them for inline elements that are in line with your text or whatever it is that you're doing. And now I need another span dot price. That's going to be $10. These are all placeholder for now. I don't actually think they charge $10 for scrambled eggs. Now this isn't some fancy California kitchen where for $10 you, I don't know, maybe you get like a foot massage with that, or they pop confetti as you eat. I don't know what you get for a $10 scrambled egg, but that's not happening here. So let's get our P, and oh, that's right, this is in the way. See if I send it down. Alright, get out of the way for now, because I want to copy this. Okay, so that's one. And then we're going to copy it again. I'm just going to leave a comment in here to separate them. New item. Just to make it easier to see. Or menu item. So that when I'm looking through this code again, you know, I can see menu item. It just breaks it up so it's not as messy, because we're not using containers right now. So we got that. And then it's English breakfast. Oh, we don't need our H2. Get rid of H2. And $10. There you go. There's that. And that's just going to bounce inside this content container. So I think that is, okay, I think that's good. So I'm going to undo. There you go, bring it back. And now we got this section. So we got one. Let's see, so we got this container. This is content moving within this container. So then what I'm going to do, because this is also menu stuff, so I want it to be in the same section. But because I need this container to be this. So it sounds like what I need to do is make another container to do this. So outside of this container, here's another one. And then we're going to do, looks like you got our image, pancakes. And these are going to be delicious pancakes on a wooden what is that? Wooden cutting board. Be as descriptive as possible for your alt text. So this is meaningful content right here. We have to know what this is. And we're going to do loading equals lazy. And then inside here, I want another content. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, because I want this code, it's the same exact design as this. So I want it to keep this name, because I'm going to do, you know, menu, content, and I'm going to style things based off of that. So I'm going to keep that so that I don't have to do these styles again. And all I got to do is, so this is content. Let's do menu 2. So that I can target this individually separate from this. So these content classes, they're going to get me the styles for these menu items. So I only have to set it once. But then I'm going to target this menu 2, and instead of content, I'm going to target as menu 2. So I only want this one, and I'm gonna have to set this to be on this side and this to be on this side, because we're gonna place these guys with a flex inside this container. It's going to be a flex box. So actually, container 2, because I don't want this to be a flex box. I don't need it to be a flex box. I want this one. So I got to target this container separately and this content separately, but they're pulling the same styles together. And that's what I'm going to do there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this stuff, put it in here, get rid of this H2, I don't need it. And honestly, the names don't matter. I'm just going to leave it. Why waste your time? And on this one, we got an A tag here. Dot button solid. Now this button solid class is it's a class that I've done in my core styles. It's my style sheet for for my nav bar, my footer, all of my text, my buttons, and that style sheet is on every page. So it's right here, core styles. I link this on every page, so every page loads this I guess it's a little mini framework that makes the navigation and the footer and all the buttons for all the pages. And in here is my styles for buttons. And all I got to do is make my link tag with that class of button solid, and it will look like that. Like, it'll look like this because that's how I have it styled. So I don't have to do it again because that's pretty much your standard button. So I don't have to do it again. Now we got that done. And we're going to go to this section. So this is going to be community. Let's just call this community. Even this out. Okay, and again, I want our container. Oops. So inside this container, I want my content. All right, so we're gonna have up here. This is gonna be my H2. This is gonna be a span because it's just a small little blurb of text. So it's not quite a heading. And it's not quite a paragraph. So we're gonna do H2. We're gonna copy this, and then this community. We need to target this community with a span. So copy span dot community span dot italic and paste. So I want to target this individual word and do things to it, and to do that you just wrap it in a span. And I like to give all my spans classes just to target them more specifically. And let's grab this text, add P, and then again we get another A. Our story. Oh, that's right. This one needs menu. That's our story. Okay, and then I need this section. So I'm going to have an image, but I want this to be added. I want this to be added as a pseudo element, but images cannot have pseudo elements. So what I need to do, see inside content. So here I need to do an image group. I need to put my image inside of a container / images. I think this is table. And so this is table and chairs inside the restaurant. And then loading lazy. So yeah, it's just the thing with images. Images can't have pseudo elements on top of it. So they'll never work. So I have to create a container for the image to live in, and then I add a pseudo element to the container. So it's just a little extra stuff, but That's kind of how it has to go. And I will say, people are wondering why I don't have like a full menu on the home page, and there's a reason to that. Like I want to show little blurbs, but I don't want to show the whole dang menu. I need them. I don't want them. I need them to interact with my site to improve my Google search results, because Google, they also consider, actions, interactivity. When someone visits your site, do they click on anything? Do they go to different pages? Because if they don't, that tells Google that maybe this wasn't as engaging of a result as it should be, and you won't rank as well. So one of those metrics is like, do they click on any buttons? And that's why we have these calls to action, these big important ones on the landing page. We want them to immediately click a button and go somewhere so that we get that interactivity. And that's why on restaurant websites, I don't put the whole menu on the home page, because I don't want them to just look at the home page and then that's it. Oh, we found everything we need. We don't need to go anywhere else. That actually hurts our rankings. I think I moved this by mistake. Did I move this? There it is. Yeah, I knew something was off. So it actually hurts the rankings, and unfortunately, that's, it would be nice to have the whole menu on there, nice and easy, but because Google measures the things they measure, that's why I put menus in their own page with little blurbs and a call to action at least once or twice to go to it, so that we can get that interactivity, go to the menu page, and then find everything you want to find. Also, if they have a large menu, you don't want to clog up your home page with it. There's just, like, these guys, they're legit, like, I think they got like 6 or 7 pages in their menu book. So there's no way you can fit this on the home page, and I'm not going to try to. So that's why we do things in little blurbs, little clips. We capture your information, we capture your attention, and then you click to get more information. You click to learn more. Click to learn more. You're going to see that a lot in websites where you don't have a whole lot of content. You just have quick little blurbs, little sections like this right here with calls to action, because we want that interactivity and we don't want to clog up the homepage. So I just wanted to make a note of that. If you're working on restaurant websites, that's kind of the philosophy. So let's see. So we got this, and then we get let's add a couple more sections. Just going to copy and paste this once, twice. So this is obviously reviews. And let's see, obviously we need a container, because we need these things to brush up against something. Now, when we look at this, we got to break it down into its simplest elements and how we can position themselves. So right away, we have something that's left positioned and right positioned with a couple things that need to be right positioned with it. What this tells me is I need to have probably two different containers in here inside of this one. So I need to have one. Let's see. So I'll go ahead and do this. Let's see, opacity of 50%. Whoops. No, I don't want that. 50%. So what I want is this. Oh, there goes the sprinklers. There goes that window. Okay, so this is going to be a container for these guys. So they're going to be in their own. And then these guys are going to live inside of a bigger container. Okay? So this will be positioned over here, and this container with this stuff will be positioned over here. And then we're going to have another container right here that contains these guys, so that they can be positioned with Flexbox inside. And then obviously inside all of this, oops, inside all of this is our big container. And that's how we're going to break things down. Inside of this big container right here, we got this container with this group, and then we got this container with these guys in it. Let me just undo all that. So here at the top, and then we're gonna have our H2, what our community has to say. Yeah, bud? Yeah, alright. Well, it looks like, Jesus, it's 12. It's 12:30. This guy should be asleep. So yeah, it looks like I gotta go put the little guy down. He's having trouble sleeping. He wants me to lay with him, so I'm gonna go be a good dad and take care of that right now. And it'll be in the little awkward time jump cut. So bear with me. Okay, I'm back. Little guy is down now. So where do we leave off? We got our H2. So now we need to create this little block. And this has to live within its own little group container. So we got ratings, and I need this to be its own thing. So dot stars. Inside of it, we're gonna have 5 stars. So let's go back to the flat icon. If it'll load, there we go. And I need a star. I just need a star. Let's go ahead and sign in. I need a star. So let's just go with this one. Looks good enough. Just come on, hurry up and let me log in. I'm gonna do it again. Let's see. I'm just gonna log in over here, off screen. Google. Alright, which one account? At my account. Now do it. Alright, here we go. Star. And I want this one. And I want it to come back, get back here. I want you to be this color. There we go. Download SVG star, save as star. Okay, good. I'm just gonna leave that open. So what I can do is all of these are going to be inline blocks inside of this star container. So I need to do image slash images star, not salad, star, and I need aria hidden equals true. Oops. And loading equals lazy. Get used to doing that. That's how things are going to go for all your images now. And we're going to paste, and 5 stars. And we got our span here. It says 4.5 out of 5. So these are going to be inline blocks. They're all going to, I guess I could just do flex. They're all going to be flexed into the center of this. And then outside of our stars, we got our, let's see, we got another span. Do a span. So 534 customer reviews on, and then a tag, Google. So that would be the link to go to see the reviews on Google. So that ratings, right here, this ratings little block, that's what this looks like. Excuse me. Yeah. I think you got a clue into why I do these at 1 in the morning, so that all the kids are asleep and it's quiet in this house. But yeah, sorry about that. So now we're at, so we got our next container. And let's do a dot review. And we got, looks like, okay, so how are we going to structure this? We got a P that can be block levels. That means that can take up its space, but we got an image, and we got text and more images. How do I want to play this game? So one way to do it is to create a container for these guys. Image will be one way, and then we have a container for these guys so that they can be grouped and positioned. So this container around them will be a flex container, and it will push this over here, and it'll push this group, this container group, over to its side, so they'll look separate. That's one way to do it. Or I mean, this image doesn't really matter, so it's probably going to be hidden from screen readers anyway. So what I can do is I can create a container around this, and then I have this image in here that is absolutely positioned, so it'll be position absolute, and I just set it to the top left 0, left 0 of this container, and then I'll set padding left of this container to be whatever this space is, and then these guys, so this will be just our this will be just a span, and then this will be its own little group. I think that's the easiest way to do it, with not trying to use as few divs as possible. So let's do this. Let's do a review top. Okay, so we got our container around it. Now let's do our image slash review 1. So that's what that one is. And again, loading lazy, not yet in true. Got it. And I want to target it with a class equals picture. And now I want my span to be the class equals name. That's going to be her. Oopsie. And then I want star group. So we're going to do that star group. And again, we got our 5 stars right here. And they already got their image stuff on them. And then we're going to do another span of 5.0. And we're just going to do class equals value. That's just what I'm going to call it. I can target that specifically. So these guys will be arranged in their little container with a flex. This will just live as itself, and then this will just be here. So yeah, not as many containers within the container within a container. So I'm happy with this. So now we got our review top. Let's see, that's review top. Oh, here we go, review. That's what we want. We want to copy the review once and twice. Let's get this. So after we got that, now we got our P. Got it. Let's move over. Got another good one from Emma. And she said this wonderful thing. Put the P there. And Benjamin. Really liked it as well. So there's that. So that's that section. And that's the reasoning behind everything I did for that. Now this one, easy. We're just going to do, we're just going to call this CTA, call to action. It's like, let's just update that last little like, hey, if you liked everything you saw, click this button, go check us out. And let me just say that people have short attention spans. And in the beginning of your website and the end of your website, whatever you put in there, that's what they're going to remember the most. They're not going to remember the middle. They always remember the top and the bottom. So at the top, I always like to have like the most important information you need to know. Like if I'm working with a restaurant, their menu options and what they do. Obviously, breakfast is a big thing. And at the bottom, I want them to remember all the nice things about them. So I want them to remember they do breakfast and lunch really well. They've been around for a long time. And then they see that everyone loves it. And that's what's going to stick in their mind. Everything else in the middle is just extra. It's content. It helps add words to your site, make it look better, have some extra stuff, just make it look good. But it's the first and the last part of your website they're going to remember the most. And that's why, like if I'm working on a painter's website, I have all of their services. I have their services at the top, like all the big ticket items and the stuff they do, because I want people to remember first what they do, and then all the other stuff like the about and etc. in the middle and extra content, and then testimonials and a portfolio at the bottom so that they can see, remember the good work they do, and remember what people say. So that's just my basic structure for building websites. If you're wondering how the heck you even start designing one of these things and what content goes where, think about that. And just know that the beginning and the end are what they remember. You want to say what they do, and you want to have nice things at the bottom to remember, for them to remember you by. So that was the reasoning behind this design. Now we got to get this little call to action going. And CTA. And again, we want a container for these guys to brush up against. So dot container. And we got our content box, either H2. And I'm going to copy. Oops. And then outside of this, I got a dot button solid. And that's going to be C menu. Okay. So that's that section. I mean, it's pretty easy. You just got your content section here. That's going to be to the left, and then you got your button right here. That's to the right. Doesn't get any easier than that. And now we just got a footer. So looks like we got one group here, and then another group with two groups inside. So two containers with two containers inside. And that's where I'm going to do it. So this footer, oops. Now, when you structure your website, you put your footer in your own little thing. So we got our header, right, has your navigation and everything. Everything goes in your body. So we got your header, and then main. Everything goes for all the main content of your page gets wrapped in the main tag. That's going to be from this section all the way up to here. That's your main. All in your navigation and everything. So when we close all this down, now we have our footer. The footer goes outside the main tab. And since we're not using any of this, we're just going to get rid of this. So that's how the very basic structure of your website. Inside your body, you have your header tag for your navigation. Obviously, you also got your nav tag for your actual navigation, right? And then you have your main, which is all of the main content of the page. And then after main is your footer. That's the basic structure of your website. That's how you should be doing them. So we're going to do our footer now with our container. And I got, dot left section. And inside of that, we're going to have our logo. So a dot logo, or footer logo. And inside of that, I want the image. So I don't have the logo right now, so it's just logo PNG. That's just what I'm going to put here for now. And loading equals lazy. And we're going to do aria hidden equals true. So I want to hide this image. It's inside of the A tag, and I don't want the screen reader to pick up the image. And it'll read the A tag and the link, and then it'll read the image. I'm like, well, we don't need that. So what we do is we add an aria label, and this is what the screen reader will read. So this is click Kennedy House of Pancakes logo to go back to home. So that the screen reader will ignore everything else inside of this A tag. Like even if I put something here, it's going to ignore it because it has an aria label, and it's going to read that instead. And you usually do this when you have buttons with no buttons or links with no text in them, just like icons or images or whatever. You add an aria label so that screen readers they know what to say. What the hell does this button do? There's no text on it, so tell me. And that's how you tell it. So we're going to set this link to go back to index.html. And that should be good there. Where's my, oh, what? I'm missing my A. There you go, I wonder where that went. Got that. Okay, yeah, that's how it's supposed to look. Oh, looks like we're also missing, I think I did something. I must have deleted something because we're missing a whole bunch of. There we go, that's better. What the heck did I do? Oh well. So it's left section. Now it's our right section. Oh yeah, I forgot this. So under that A, we're gonna have a P, and then we're gonna have an A dot button solid, and that's gonna be our menu, and that's gonna be this is our credit link right here. So we're gonna have another A, or no, we're gonna have a span. It says designed by an A tag. Elkhart Web Designs. And then I'm just going to copy this. I'm just going to copy this. And I just like to put to present because I don't want to have to go back and manually change this year. So when you just put 2021 to present, that pretty much carries you through. Because I don't use a way to do this would be to use a PHP includes, and you just change one HTML thing and it changes it on everywhere else, etc., etc. But we're building a static site here, and static sites don't use PHP or server-side code. So we do this. I think this has to go here. Yeah, there we go. And now we got our right section, and inside of that we got our .website. So we're gonna have, yeah, that should be navigation. I'll just make that navigation. So we'll do, let's see. I think I'll make that a span. Navigation. I'm just gonna make this a heading class. Navigation. And then I think I just make this a UL. LIA. Because when you got things like this in a line, it's easier to work with them and manipulate them and get them to do what you want when they're in a list. So this is going to be home. This is about. This is going to be contact us, and this is going to be /index.html. It's going to be /html/about.html. These pages aren't done yet, but they will be /html/contact_us.html. So that's what those pages will be. And then this one will be /html/menu.html. While I'm doing it, I guess, you know. And so we got navigation. And let's do this again, actually, because I want them to keep the same style. So what's the point of doing it twice? Let's just do subnav, or let's do footer ft sub. That way, when I style this one right here, this will just have the exact same style. You know, why do it twice? So then here we're gonna have get rid of this. So this is gonna be a phone number, and then to do a phone number, we do tell, and then we remove the parentheses and just add little dashes, and then. Yeah, this I don't think this is not their actual email, but what you want to do for emails, click to email, because there's bots out there that will scan websites for emails and they'll just quickly send an email without having to do the CAPTCHA form or whatever. So that's why we do click to email, so that it has to have an action. They can't just scrape that email. So now we take our email, we copy, and we do mail to, and there you go. Just mail to : and there it goes. So always do it like this. And of course, so we got our image /images. It's a phone SVG, and I want it to be aria hidden equals true. Why do I keep doing this? And then loading equals lazy. So I'm just going to copy this, put it right here, and that's mail.svg. So that'll give us those two guys right there inside of these list items. And that's it. That is the home page. You know, pretty easy. So when I'm going to go through, we're going to do the CSS all the way through desktop for homepage first, and then we will move on to about, and then we will do the contact page, which this should be very simple to do. And again, this should be pretty easy, but the fun part, or not so fun part, will be building this grid. So that'll be an exciting adventure on that video. And then showing you how to do this, these overlapping. This is called breaking the container, where an element breaks outside of its container. So this is the element's container right here. This is where it's supposed to live, but we break it and we make it overlap, and we're doing it here too. That's another common trend in web design nowadays, in 2021 and beyond. It creates a more dynamic look. It's not as boxy or contained. It's kind of you know, it takes its space, and it just looks better, I think, honestly. And that's kind of what we're doing here again. We're breaking the container. Instead of having these guys just live right here, I mean, just look how much more dynamic and better it looks when it's breaking the container and it's overlapping. So wherever you can do that, wherever you can break the container, go for it, because it just looks better, and it's a very common trend nowadays, as you can see. So now that we got the HTML done, we got which is the most important part. If you do not structure your HTML thinking about how you're going to make it in mobile and desktop, you're just going to have problems down the road. Like when I was doing my HTML here, I was also planning it to work on mobile first, and then how to go to desktop. I wasn't just doing it willy-nilly. There was a thought process and a plan behind it, just based on how I want elements to play with each other on desktop and mobile. So just get used to structuring your HTML with intent and purpose, planning ahead for mobile and desktop. It'll make your life so much easier, and you won't have to go back and redo some things. So this is the HTML video, and in the next video we'll be going over CSS, and specifically mobile CSS. And we're going to start this thing mobile first, which is how you should be starting all of your websites. Yeah, thanks for watching, and let's get on to the next one.